way to start to make sure you map and understand your current relationships is by just having the data in the CRM. Just making your CRM your single source of truth, right? And then this is like really simple stuff, right? This is like CRM adoption 101. I know everyone's like, yeah, I got this. This is easy. Add contacts to my CRM, blah, 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 blah. But that all is true until, you get a sales rep, an email comes in, you're like, I should add this contact into my CRM. Maybe I'll do it later. And then another one comes in, you're like, okay, maybe I'll do that one later. And then you keep doing that and doing that and doing that, and later doesn't come for a lot of your contacts, right? That's a problem. That means you don't have completeness in your CRM from a contact standpoint. So when Cloudflare Connect, what we do is we take, the emails that you have going back and forth in your inbox, compare that to the contacts that you have in your CRM. We say, hey, you've been emailing back and forth with such and such, but they're not in your CRM. Do you want to add them as a contact in Sugar? Then you just have to click a couple buttons, and you are good to go. They're added in Sugar. So that way, even if you kind of fall behind a little bit in terms of the contacts that you're emailing back and forth with that should be in Sugar, you can easily always pull a list of those, take a couple minutes, click through, have them all added into CRM. All right? So the next step, once you have those contacts in your CRM, is to make sure that you really understand who they are, right? So obviously, we usually have first name, last name, email. Maybe you might have things like title. But to start to kind of get a little bit more granular with the information we have, to understand a little bit deeper about the demographics and even the psychographics of our customer, you want to make sure that you have as much data in there as possible. An awesome tool for this is definitely Sugar's Own Hint. With a click of a button, you can bring in, things like social information, things that will be on their LinkedIn page, like, college and things like that they went to. All this information that you can use to better kind of understand your prospect from within your CRM without having to go back and forth between another system. Once we have an understanding of a little bit more about who those prospects are, then let's start to think about, okay, let's understand how often we're speaking with these prospects, with these opportunities, accounts, contacts, right? And we'll talk a little bit later about how exactly you can get this data in your CRM. But if you have the email communication data in your CRM, then you can start to map out, hey, how often are we talking to this prospect? Is it 2 years, 2 months? 2 days? That makes a huge difference in the quality of the relationship, right? So being able to get that data in your CRM so you can map that out, that's huge in starting to understand, the velocity of the relationship. And then 3 here will be understanding, who at your company has those strong relationships. Are there specific sales reps that have very strong relationships with some prospects that you guys can leverage? If I am prospecting to account, who might I want to have me do an introduction, right? And so having that information about who are your company's contacts can again kind of empower you to be able to make better prospecting decisions and to be able to make better decisions in terms of when you're talking to a buyer group deep in a deal. Who do you want to leverage in order to ask questions to certain prospects or to certain buyers and things like that? So that's incredibly useful as well. So this is all about getting your communication data in CRM and being able to graph it. So then you can make better decisions based on that information, right? So what you can do, once you have data in your CRM, once you have that communication data flowing through your CRM, you can actually email data. You can actually go in, get a peek. Hey, what are the important communications going on between my sales reps and for us it'll be their sales reps. What's the important conversations that are going on between maybe our customer success team or customer support team and the VP of sales there, right? What are they saying? What issues are they bringing up? What problems are they having? What have they uncovered that I otherwise would never have uncovered, right? So having that information and that 360 degree transparency inside those communications is key so you can understand that stuff. So then you can go back and talk to your customer success or customer support rep and say, hey, what was going on there? Why did they have that problem? Or you can go back to your business development rep and say, hey, they mentioned this. Why was that an issue for them? What problem are they trying to solve? Right? And those are likely going to be from different people in your prospect buying group. And then you can put together a solution for them, a message for them that solves everyone's problems, not just a single person inside the buying. To be key in the relationship process to be able to manage, okay, when am I reaching out to people? And that's why we actually use CrowdSpot Connect to map out and kind of score our relationships. And then we can see, hey, when is it, been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks since we've reached out to an account? When do we want to step back in? We can kind of build these triggers and then say, okay, once we've gone past, a 70 communication score, we're going to reach out to this account and just kind of touch base with them, right? And then a lot of people always say, sure, we can touch base with this account, but what do we say? What are we saying to them? Again, let's not just ask about, hey, how's your wife doing? Let's add value to their business. Let's see how we can help them achieve their business goals, right? Some things that we like to do as a company is, we'd like to go look into their tech stack and see, using a Datanyze or a similar tech stack tool, see from a technology standpoint, if this applies to, your business, have they, made any changes? And then if so, can we reach out and provide any sort of value, right? So recently, one of our current customers, they actually switched a lot of their company from Gmail to 365. Traditionally, we're a Gmail-only solution. We do now have a Office 365 solution, but when they switched over, they didn't realize we had an Office 365 solution. So they were kind of up in the air. They're like, I don't know what's going on. We were able to look at a Datanyze type tool and say, hey guys, saw that you switched over to 365. Just to let you know, your licenses, you could just transfer those over if need be. Awesome. Kept them happy. Even added a ton of license to that account, right? So that was a way that we could continuously add value, right? You could do the same thing by, checking on something like Crunchbase and Mattermark, even SEC documents, see, what's going on with the company. If there's any big changes there that you could possibly help your contact out with, even just going on LinkedIn, seeing, what hiring decisions that they're making, possibly there is some way you can help out and add value there. Just looking for different ways to add value. And then, finally, you can kind of take a lot of the same methodologies and apply it to how you manage your pipeline. So if I am kind of late in the quarter and I want to make sure that I'm working on deals that are going to close, a great way to tell that is, obviously deal stages, they play their part, but also a really great way to tell what's going to close is, who am I communicating most with, right? So as a sales rep or a sales manager even, if I can sort and see, who do I have who am I having high velocity conversations with? If I can focus on those, like we could potentially close more deals, right? On the flip side, if I am seeing deals where there's low velocity of communication or communication has really dropped off, that's when I can say, okay, I'm going to flip this over and focus on deals that are slipping. Right? So if I have that communication data in my CRM, I can do that and I can manipulate this data to be able to tell me, different stories about what's going on.